Welcome back to the Least Professional channel on YouTube. How's everybody doing today? So today I thought we'd discuss something that has kind of bothered me for a while, something I've been thinking about, and that is, why do people ghost hunt at night? So if you look at a lot of ghost hunting shows, ghost hunting YouTube channels, they'll usually tend to ghost hunt in the dark. They'll take out night vision equipment and all kinds of flashlights and all this other kind of stuff, and they'll do their ghost hunts at night. And I was kind of curious. I started thinking, do ghosts actually only come out at nighttime? And one of the things that I found while I was researching this was actually an article on Quora where this same question was asked about why do ghost hunters ghost hunt at night. And the response from the guy was, yes, they're dormant during the daytime. Negative energies are not comfortable in the sunlight. They are most active only during the night. And all I could think of was, are you saying that ghosts are vampires? That seems a little bit odd to me, but okay. But the more that I dug, the deeper that I got into this to try to figure this out, there's a couple of different things, conclusions that I came to, and reasons that I found that people gave as to why ghost hunters or why people would go out and ghost hunt at night. So one reason that would probably fit a lot of people that ghost hunt for a hobby was because it's outside of working hours. So a lot of people will work Monday through Friday, day job, and they'll get off and they'll have the evenings and the weekends free. And if you have the evenings and the weekends free, and that's the only time that you can go out and do this, most of the time you're going to wind up actually going out when it happens to be dark. On the weekends, you could technically do it during the daytime, but a lot of people get busy on the weekends too, running errands that they couldn't have run through the week. So it makes sense that there would be a large chunk of people that could only do this at night. Now, another reason that I found that people will ghost hunt at night, and this really, I think, especially applies to the ghost hunting shows and YouTube channels out there, and that has to do with people's fear of the dark. So if you're trying to pull in viewers and you're trying to pull them in on something that's going to be creepy and scary, do you think it would be better to pull them in if you are standing somewhere in broad daylight where everything can be seen and every little noise can be pointed out and seen, that all that was something that fell across the room? Or would it be better to shoot the show in the dark where you can't really see much beyond what you can see of the ghost hunters? Even with the night vision, you can't get a very good view of what's actually going on, so everything becomes just a little bit more creepy. So the reason why so many people are afraid of the dark is because it's a fear of the unknown. So if you're standing in a dark room and you can't see anything around you and something makes a noise, your mind immediately starts jumping to the possibilities of what could be there. And the fight or flight response kicks in, because it could be something, a predator, and it could be somebody that wants to hurt you coming at you. As opposed to when you have the lights on and you can see everything around you and you hear a noise and you can very plainly see what made the noise. Now, I noticed while researching this topic that there was a little bit of debate. There are people out there that honestly think that ghosts only come out at night and that you have to ghost hunt at night because ghosts, for whatever reason, their energy manifests better in the darkness. I've heard the example of, well, it's easier to ghost hunt at night because when you're taking pictures, for instance, ghosts, they're kind of translucent, so it's a lot harder to see with a bright background as opposed to a dark background where the ghost will contrast a little bit better with the dark background. I suppose that could be a possibility. Another reason, especially for ghost hunters, that I've heard is there's less sound at night. So there's less sound from animals, from vehicles, from people, depending on where you're at. There's going to be less things out there that can make noise, especially if you're working with a recorder and you're trying to record EVPs and that kind of stuff. If you can eliminate them, the daytime sounds, by doing it at night, then you're more likely to be able to trust whatever you hear. Now, if you see my video on pareidolia that came out on Tuesday, you already know that I don't trust EVPs as it is. So whether it's in the day or the night, it doesn't make a difference to me. But to a ghost hunter, if they're trying to capture an EVP, it makes sense that they would want to do it at nighttime. There's fewer sounds being made that you would have to then go through and pick apart and figure out, okay, was this actually an animal, or was this actually a person in the other room? Depending on the location where you're at, was this traffic outside? So if you can tamper down some of those other noises, it makes it a lot easier to decipher what's what. So another reason why people might think that ghosts only come out at night is because historically, a lot of the time when people have seen ghosts, it tends to be in the evening hours or overnight hours, and especially if they're seeing a ghost or hearing a ghost in their own home and think that their house is haunted. And this one's pretty self-explanatory, I think. Basically what happens is people, they're working during the day, like we mentioned earlier. They come home from work, they've had a long day, they just want to relax and chill out at their house, and so they're spending the evening time at their house. So any noises or anything that happens that makes them think their house is haunted is more likely to occur at night because they're at the house at night. but it also comes down to state of mind. When people are off work and they're at their house, they, especially if they're tired, they're more susceptible to taking things in and not thinking straight. Maybe your mind isn't working as well as it is in the first thing in the morning, so you're not thinking straight. Maybe you've been drinking or doing something that impairs your judgment, so your mind's working overtime there. All sorts of different contributing factors that could play in there that could cause somebody to think that their house is haunted and that ghosts only come out at night. And they'll feel more comfortable during the day, kind of a combination of the two things. With the darkness that we talked about earlier, during the daytime, if they're home on the weekends and it's during the day, they can see more stuff around the house, so they're less likely to have something unexplained happen because, again, they can see it. Whereas at night, in the dark, it's a lot harder to see this kind of things. And that's why, people will turn on the lights in their house, and they'll turn on every light in the house if they think that it's haunted, because in their mind, they're keeping the ghost away by keeping all of the lights on. In reality, what it is you have all the lights on. You can see if something makes a noise. You can see what made that noise. Maybe you're like me and you have a cat that likes to run around and get into things, and your cat knocks something over on the table. Well, if it's dark, you can't see the fact that your cat ran across the table and knocked something over, and you hear that noise and you're like, oh my god, it must have been a ghost. Whereas if it's daytime, you can very clearly see across the room and see the table and see that the cat ran across the table and knocked something over. That explains it. So to kind of summarize, because I know I kind of rant a little bit in some of these things, I think, in my opinion, for the ghost hunting shows and the YouTube channels, the primary reason why they hunt at night is because it draws in viewers. Because people have that creep factor, so you turn off the lights, it's dark on the screen where you're watching, and so you kind of pull yourself in, immerse yourself in all of that, and it makes it a lot creepier to watch. So I think for the shows and the YouTube channels and stuff like that goes on at night, that's the reason they do it, is just for that creep factor, because it brings in more people, and more people kind of get creeped out when they're watching a ghost hunt in the dark as opposed to a ghost hunt in the day. For all those people that go out there and ghost hunt during the night that aren't running a YouTube channel or a television show, I feel like the primary purpose is most likely the scheduling thing, at least for most people. I'm not going to speak for everyone, I'm sure. If you go ghost hunting and you prefer to do it at night, let me know down in the comments. What's your reason for going at night? Is it the scheduling thing? Is it just that it's easier to get out on the evenings and the weekends, and so that's the best time, that's the only time that you can really get out? Or is there another reason? Do you believe that ghosts only come out at nighttime? If you do, why do you believe that? Is there something behind that to back that up? Because if there's not, consider going out in the daytime sometime. There's some reasons why ghost hunting at night, especially if you are somebody who just does it for fun as a hobby and you don't really record video or you don't upload anything, you're not doing it for views, but if you're doing it as a hobby, there's some reasons why it's more dangerous at night, especially if you're going to places that are like the abandoned type of places or cemeteries at night, that kind of stuff. It can be a little bit more dangerous to be out at those places after dark, simply because, one, there could be other people with ill intent, especially if you are in an abandoned place. Two, there's animals out at night that can cause trouble, depending on where you're at. The danger could be more in some places than others, obviously. And three, if you're ghost hunting at night, you're most likely tired. Maybe you've gone the entire day at work, for instance, and you go out in the evening and you want to go ghost hunting. That's how you have fun. If you're already tired, you're actually hurting yourself when it comes to finding stuff, because you're going to be more susceptible to every little noise that happens, every little thing that moves. Your mind is going to be quicker at jumping to conclusions such as ghosts, because not only are you already there looking for ghosts, but you're tired on top of that, and you're more likely to see and hear things that you wouldn't otherwise see or hear, depending on how tired you are, because you've gone the entire day and your mind is just worn out from thinking. So it's just going to kind of overreact to everything, and it's going to add to the spook factor. Now, if you're trying to be scared, if that's your goal, there's safer ways to do it where you can still get scared. There's a lot of businesses and places that will let you ghost hunt at night if you get prior approval and prior permission. Some of them charge, some of them may just let you come in if you say, hey, I want to do a ghost hunt here, and some of them might just let you come in and check it out for a couple hours after close. You never know unless you ask. So that's my long-winded rant as to what I found on why people ghost hunt at night. I found it kind of fascinating because of the debate that was going back and forth. There's some people that say ghosts are just as likely to be out during the day. So you can go day or night anytime. I know from personal experience, when I used to ghost hunt, it was definitely creepier at night. When I believed in ghosts and I was out ghost hunting, it was definitely creepier at night, but I also did it in the daytime. And I've kind of grown to the point where, like, I kind of prefer it when I can see. When I was up at the Mansfield Reformatory, for that ghost hunting thing that was overnight, it was fun. It was a cool place, but it was so dark. It was so hard to see anything. We had the flashlights, and that was great. That helped out. I would have loved to see that building a little bit more in the daylight, though. That's just personal preference. But it is fun. It is creepy. And it's fun to be creeped out. And there's nothing wrong with that. But you need to be safe about it. You need to be careful with it. If you are going to go out anywhere, especially at night, take somebody with you. Don't ever go to these places alone. I don't care if it's a cemetery, if it's a location, never, ever go alone. Because that's when bad things can happen. And it's not just that somebody else could be there with ill intent. I know of people that have gotten injured and killed and abandoned buildings because they were by themselves. Imagine for a second that you decide, hey, I want to go out and ghost hunt. There is a creepy old abandoned building that's supposedly haunted near me. Nobody ever goes there, and I just want to go check it out. And you go out there by yourself, and you've got your equipment out there, and you go inside, and you're looking around, and you don't realize that one of the floorboards is rotten, and you step through it, and the next thing you know, your leg's sliced open, or any number, you fall through the floor, you can't get out, and you wind up dying down there or being seriously injured. If you're lucky, somebody finds you. Maybe you have your cell phone, maybe it's working and you can get a hold of somebody, but it's a risk that you really shouldn't take. It's not worth it. So always, if you're going to do any of this kind of stuff, go with somebody. Take a person with you, at least one. I mean, ideally you want to have the small group together because you really never know what you're going to run into. I used to love to do urban exploration, but it was more rural exploration because we would find things out in the middle of nowhere. But I always took somebody with me. I've never gone alone for that reason, just because I don't want to take that risk. So if you want to ghost hunt, you want to ghost hunt at night, take somebody with you, be safe about it, and know that you don't have to go at night. You can go during the daytime too. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and throw the cemetery chat playlist up right over here. And then over here, I'll have another video that I recommend that you watch next. Check it out. But that's all I've got for now. I want to thank you all for watching. Everybody have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next one.